Growing up, my older brother and I were captivated by music and film. As siblings, we liked watching movies about the music shared with us by our dad, like School of Rock, and jamming out to the set list of Guitar Hero 3 and World Tour. The difference between us is that he would actually adopt music from an early age into adulthood, while I, with less direction, experience, and competence, chose to focus on presentation. Why the media was so compelling to younger me was a mystery, but supposedly that attention paid toward music and glam rock was enough to plant the seed. Music and film brought my family together. Dad would always unite the family, whether we were driving somewhere or cooking something, with an inappropriate reference or two to Animal House. That kind of spontaneity, positive comedic energy, and, let's be honest here, playful immaturity, was always something admirable to me. Exposure to films outside of the American market did away with some filmmaking misconceptions. It's inspiring to think that high concept ideas are achievable without an emphasis on computer generated graphics, as they often were in Hollywood. It established the precedent that someone, even an amateur, could make these concepts come to life with an excess passion, barely inhibited by their budget. The Godzilla series prides itself on its practicality and remains a personal favorite. Too many people are unhappy in real life. Nothing is ever that serious, I thought, so why can't we remind ourselves of such? Don't the characters that influence us through media suggest we should? I'm sure many children my age could relate to having one film that shaped their perception of what media could represent and how said stories are told. I've had many, but it was Jurassic Park that made me respect the tight writing, effects, editing, pacing, and music of the film, all of which appealed to me as potential careers. All the way through middle school, Spielberg and Zemeckis entertained my delusions of creativity and whimsy. I would intentionally fool around with iMovie in my TV production class, which led me to adopt it as a hobby with better, legitimate editing software that I ungraciously pirated that same school year. And when there was nothing to film, write, or skew in my image, volunteering occupied much of my time, and even provided insight into the paths others had chosen. Being a floor volunteer at my hospital granted me the privilege of observing patients firsthand. The patients included novelists, avid readers, comedians, accountants, and several other career practitioners who somehow found their way in my hometown, or came here after journeying from another. These are conventional people who, despite being at the end of their lives, had contributed to something they were passionate about. They all inspired me. Even if, to this day, I'm sure one of them was a full on Italian mobster with the hair, accent, etc., that inspired me a little less. Capiche? College would soon become a reality, however, forcing a careful reconsideration of these ideas. After a sobering period brought about by, say it with me, the pandemic, along with a maddening case of senioritis, there was an immense pressure to conform and think about a career path that would actually let me succeed financially. I did the most boring thing imaginable and chose business administration as my major. Who would have guessed that the student who had a hard time with math would struggle with a math-oriented major? I changed it back to something more enjoyable, and the rest is history. As a media production major, I hope that my practical experience will help me excel in many areas, from screenwriting to practical work with cameras to online content creation, and all the nuances they command. Over time, the interests of my brother and I grew apart. Someone who was once considered my best friend has since become the family member I speak to the least. He's getting his name out there with music, and I'm still pursuing my education. After building the skill set that satisfies me most, thereby earning a name for myself, I want to help him with the production side of his business. Pivoting fully into this possible career has led me to working on projects from a better articulated approach to writing, filming, and editing. My growing collection of works includes a mini-doc, a music video for a local artist, and some other things on the side for some student orgs I'm associated with. The documentary, for example, was marred with setbacks from the beginning. With no equipment of my own, the lighting situation was dependent upon a creaky university lighting kit that should have long been repurposed as a kitchen hot plate. While some directors ultimately might be eager to take credit for how well the lighting was set up, others might be hesitant the moment we had to turn the lights off when they started burning through the diffuser sheet. The music video was something special. Its production cycle was a miracle. Nothing went according to plan, but it worked out nonetheless. The original shooting location, an overhyped bar in rundown downtown Gainesville, was unavailable and too expensive. The actors showed up late. There were no simple means by which to transport our equipment to other locations, which greatly affected the video's narrative. And through all of that, I had to fight a ghastly cold while doubling as the cameraman and actor. But the job was taken care of, and that's what counts. I think the mobster would agree. Except his liver would be damaged from hard liquor instead of NyQuil. Meaningful practice for when I want to move to Atlanta or LA and begin my editing career. Perhaps these projects are emblematic of a professional improvement from the cheeky fight scenes my friends and I would film for fun, which honestly doesn't feel that long ago. I anticipate seeing more changes as a similarly short amount of time passes henceforth. Thank you.